Planning Commission will come to order. Can I have a roll call, please?
Brian Baker,
Present.
Tammy Bolin,
Present.
James Chrisman,
Here.
John Collette,
Here.
Jim Crawley, Chuck Ennis, Jeff Ford, Norm Froderman, Don Folk, John Hanley, Debbie May,
Here.
Chris Schweitzer,
Here.
William Verdeen,
Here.
Fred Wilson.
We do have a quorum. I'd like to ask everybody to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Bill, you okay? Absolutely. Be careful down there.
All right.
Yeah.
Roll up underneath you.
Mr. Ford, sit up. There you go, your next. Okay, I think everyone's had an opportunity to review the status report and the minutes. Are there any corrections? Not, I need a motion. Motion for approval.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Executive Director's report.
Good evening. I have four other things real quick in addition to the written report that was submitted. First thing, and so as not to bury the headline, our Assistant Director and Floodplain Administrator and her husband on 5/23 at 5 p.m. welcomed Avivia, did I say that right? Aviva, thank you. Lydia Shahar, 9 pounds, 5 ounces, 22 and a half inches. Mother and child are reported to be doing well.
Well, congratulations to her.
Yes. We're going to pass around our email sign-up again. Please indicate on here whether you would prefer the mailed or emailed packet version. We did send our first ever digital packets out this time. I hope somebody got a chance to get them. It's really simple. What happens is we send you an email with a link. You click on the link and you open it up, and all of the folders will be everything that we've done for the month. Everything that comes in your packets, everything will be in that digital link. You can just click on it and open it. So you'll.
Theory, but mine didn't work.
Yeah, mine didn't either.
Okay,
Mine didn't either.
we'll keep
so-
trying.
That's why I said I'll just do the mail.
That's why we're sending still paper ones.
Okay.
To work out some of these bugs. So next time if you get the digital packet and it doesn't work, please let us know so that we can identify what went wrong and where as part of this transition. Also want to bring to your attention, you have a couple of handouts. One, Mr. Shagley gave you an updated version of what we had even, so please refer to that when it comes time. And also want to call your attention to an email that we received from Miss Bowling, who is Terre Haute Area Homes and MLS president. Had some very kind words about our very own Penny Kale. These words that are in here are much deserved. Penny does a very good job for us. She works very hard and makes sure that she keeps us all in line. So please take a moment to acknowledge that when you get a chance. And
Is that her church?
All right, I think that concludes the in addition to portion of my report.
Okay, any questions from Pierre? I don't need a motion.
Second.
Favor aye.
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 Motion passes. There wasn't a nay, was there? Okay. Is there any agenda items from the public that you know of?
And I'm sorry again?
Agenda items from the public?
No, none that I'm aware of, thank you.
Okay, yeah. I think everyone's got a plaque or floating around here somewhere. Okay, the first item is under old business. This one hasn't been tabled, has it?
We received no further correspondence from the petitioner in this case, so we request it be tabled once again.
It does need to be tabled?
Yes.
This one needs to be tabled. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second. Favor aye.
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 Motion passes. Okay, you're gonna get an opportunity to get really good at tabling things tonight. Okay, the next one is subdivision city rezonings, docket number 32, file 17, 2021.
RSBR Lafayette Avenue subdivision. Is that tabled?
The petitioner has requested that item be tabled.
Have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Hold on, ma'am, somebody's asking something up there.
Favor aye?
Wait a second.
Hold on.
Is that the?
Yes. The petitioner, I believe it's the same group that's doing both the north and the south dollar stores at the same time, and their engineering work wasn't completed on the south one. So rather than do one and then try and do another, they're gonna try and do them all at the same time next month. Yeah.
Okay. If you're here for that item, you don't have to sit through the whole thing.
They're tabling both of them.
Docket number 34, yes, once we get to that item, they have requested it be tabled.
Okay.
Did we finish that one? I kind of cut you off.
I think you still got to vote.
Did we finish the tabling of this?
I think we did.
We didn't vote.
I don't think we
No.
voted.
You need a vote?
Yeah. We got a motion and a second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay.
Sorry, it passes. They started talking, I thought they were here to sit here, and I didn't know they weren't.
Okay, next item is docket number 39, Special Orders 19, 2021.
Yes, the petitioner has requested this item be tabled at this time.
Okay. Have a
Motion
motion?
to table.
Second.
Second.
Favor aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Passes. Okay, the next item is rezoning city, docket number 36, Special Ordinance 16, 2021, 2231 Holman Street, from an R1 to a C1 Neighborhood Commerce District.
The petitioner in this case, Shannon Nicole Erlenbush, represented by Mr. Shagley. The proposed zoning C1 Neighborhood Commercial District, it is currently R1 Single Family Residential District. It is commonly known as 2231 Holman Street, Terre Haute, Indiana, 47803. The area is well served by utilities. The development in this area is neighborhood commercial with low to high intensity residential areas with appropriate buffering. Surrounding uses are all residential. The property was a barber shop spanning back to the 70s. As it sits, the proposed use is in keeping with the legal nonconforming established use. We have informed the petitioner, the lender, the real estate agent, and the property owner that rezoning is not necessary. This rezoning would bring the property into conformance, however, extra steps will be needed. The C1 district does not require any visual screening or buffering against residential uses. In fact, it is intended to be incorporated into the residential setting. Given the nature of the use, however, visual screening would be recommended for the parking areas. BZA relief from section 10137C 14, backing into the street from an off-street parking area will be needed. Also relief from section 137E, and I may have those citings incorrect. I'll have to double check those. Will be needed for the driveway not meeting the minimum distance from the street intersection. Staff does give an offer favorable recommendation, though the rezoning is not needed due to the legal non-conforming status. If required by city engineering, a landscape plan must be approved for visual screening and Board of Zoning Appeals relief from the items I listed above.
Mr. Shaker.
Thank you, Mr. President, fellow members of the commission. Thank you all for being here this evening. As stated, my name is Richard Shagley. I'm with the law firm of Wright, Shagley & Lowry, and tonight I'm here representing the petitioner, Shannon Erlenbush. This property has been a hair salon or barbershop since I can remember. The current owner would like to sell it. The potential buyer would like to continue use in this fashion as a beauty shop. As Jared mentioned, the question of whether there's a need, the non-conforming could continue. However, the lender would like it rezoned to commercial so it would no longer be non-conforming. That's why we're here this evening. Jared mentioned some possible variances, which we intend to file tomorrow, and we should have those on file tomorrow.
Deadline was today.
Yeah, which is going to be a minor problem. So those will be heard in August. But we intend to file those variances, and then obviously we will comply with any city code and any requirements they have regarding this rezoning. But as I said, I'm here for tonight for the petitioner to hope to rezone property at 2231 Holman Street from R1 to C1 Neighborhood Commerce District. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, any questions from the planning commission? Anyone speaking in opposition to this petition? Have a motion.
To approve.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next item is docket number 37, Special Ordinance 17, 2021, 1325 North 4th Street from a PUD to an R3 General Residential District.
The owner, Kendall Terre Haute LLC, represented by Mr. Shagley. The proposed use is unrestricted affordable housing. It is currently, did we ever hear from city legal?
I don't think it ever reverted back
It
to.
had to have reverted to
It was
something.
supposed to, because it was never, but I don't think it actually did. I don't think the step, whatever step that is, the mechanics to revert it back. Because when I first went to the city, they said, Mr. Felling requested to be rezoned R3 and asked about the hotel. And everybody we've spoken to in this process has asked about the hotel. Unfortunately, my client does not own the hotel.
Yeah, for the backstory, this was a part of a project that a planned unit development was rezoned for. And in the city planned unit developments, if they don't materialize, it reverts back to a previous zoning. The previous zoning in this case was a mix, and you can't have a mix in one lot because the subdivision was approved. So you have a mixed zoning across one lot, and we never got clarification from city legal on what exactly it reverted to. So we're rezoning from question mark to R3 General Residence District. Okay? Yeah, common address 1325 North 4th Street. Surrounding uses are a mix of residential and commercial. To the north is R3, east R2 and C3, south R2, C5, C2, west R2, C6. The petition property, as I indicated, is located in a mix of use area. Let's see here. Previous, the property was rezoned in Special Ordinance 1817 as a planned unit development and was approved for development of student housing. That planned unit development never materialized, thus the property reverts back to previous zoning. As a part of the replanning of the property, 4th Street between 4th and 7th Avenue, along with a portion of 6th Avenue, were vacated. The current petition is to rezone the property for R3 for the construction of 40 978 square foot, 2-bedroom units, along with a clubhouse or leasing office. The proposed development is less dense than previously approved project. The petitioner will need to work closely with city engineering for all drainage and infrastructure. The Terre Haute Fire Department has requested additional hydrant be placed on the corner of 4th Avenue and 3rd Street. They also require that the road or alley between 3rd and 4th Street be a minimum of 20 feet in width. An agreement may be needed between the developer and city for general public access to portions of the property that were formerly public streets. The internal drives must remain private. The petitioner will not have enough parking if the streets are dedicated. Also, parking is not permitted to back into a public street. So, again, the private drives must remain private. Rule 5 is applicable to this development. Of course, reuse and redevelopment in the city of Terre Haute is an encouraged activity. So we offer a favorable recommendation with the conditions of approval of site plan from the necessary emergency response agencies and approval of all necessary development standards by city engineer.
Okay, Mr. Shagley.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Richard Shagley. I'm with the law firm Wright, Shagley & Lowry. Tonight I'm here representing the petitioner, Kendall Terre Haute LLC. They own the property at 1325 North 4th Street. It's about a 7-acre parcel. As Jared mentioned, this piece was part of a proposed project a couple of years ago that fell apart. And Kendall Terre Haute LLC is the one who picked it up after it fell apart. They are proposing to sell it to New Directions Housing Corporation, which is an Illinois company who all they do is affordable housing. They have 9 projects in Illinois, and they're wanting to do their first one in Indiana. What they're proposing to do is, upon a successful rezoning of this property, is construct 40 2-bedroom, 2-bath units for multifamily use. There's also a proposed clubhouse, which will have some laundry, some fitness equipment, and the leasing office, as well as a community room for use by the tenants. As Jared mentioned, in front of you is a updated site plan. As you may recall, he discussed in the staff report that the fire department had some issues. In speaking with the fire department, it was determined that that extra hydrant was not necessary, that there's one in the vicinity. And the changes between the two site plans is based upon the request of the fire department. As you'll see in the first one that you have, there was some parking between the new driveway and the clubhouse. That has been removed, which will give ample space for any fire trucks to maneuver in that area. And you'll also notice that on 4th Street, there was a little bit of it drawn it out and it wasn't flush, and that has been shaved back to be flush with the parking, again, to allow the fire trucks more easy access in the case of emergency. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have regarding this rezoning.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Shagler? Is anyone speaking in opposition to this petition? Not, I need a motion. Second? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next item is docket number 38, special ordinance 18/2021. Is this a good one? Okay, it's 504 and 508 South 15th Street from an R3 to an R3 plan and development.
The owner of the property is Reach Services Incorporated, represented by Mr. Frederick. The proposed use is a day center for the homeless. It's currently R3, a general residence district. Excuse me, the proposed zoning is R3, general residence district planned development. The property is located on the corner of North 15th Street and Oak Street, commonly known as 504 and 508 South 15th Street. This is identified as a neighborhood enhancement area. The area is well served by utilities. Surrounding uses are all residential. Planned developments are uses that may be permitted under certain circumstances that are not permitted uses in the zone district where the said planned development is proposed. A planned development is considered a floating zone. Before a planned development can be considered, the petitioner must show proof of one of the following unique circumstances: that the petitioner has a hardship due to the physical characteristics of the land, due to the improvements on the land, due to adjacent scattered incompatible uses, due to the general deterioration of the neighborhood, or that the parcel is located near a district boundary line. When it is determined by the Area Plan Commission and the City Council that a hardship does exist, a planned development of certain uses may be approved for any zoned lot. However, it must be determined that said proposed use, if approved, will be in the public's interest and that substantial justice will be done for that neighborhood. The petition property was a former daycare and youth center. As it sits, the building was constructed across a platted alleyway. Vacation of the alleyway is needed and a replat of the property to eliminate the alley is recommended. The petitioner should be able to demonstrate a hardship. The proposed use is not identified under any zoning category. The planned development is needed for the mixed-use nature of the development. Variances for a reduction in parking from section 10-133A has been requested as a part of the ordinance. An updated site plan has been submitted depicting the location for staff parking. Initially, staff had many questions about the proposed facility. I reached out to the petitioner's representative, who wasn't really able to help answer all of my questions. So then I reached out to the Reach Services directly and was fortunate to have had an opportunity to speak with the right persons. They submitted to our office the additional packet of info. Contained therein and attached to this report was all the information we needed. And I hope you gave it careful consideration. Because after reading the supplemental packet, we are confident in Reach's organizational structure and ability to handle all contingencies within their network of social services agencies in and around Terre Haute. So staff does offer a favorable recommendation with the following conditions. It must be recorded within 90 days, hardship must be demonstrated, and it must be determined that if approved, the planned development will be in the public's interest and that substantial justice will be done for that neighborhood.
Okay, Mr. Frederick.
Thank you, Mr. President, council members. As Mr. Baylor said earlier, my name is Dave Frederick. I'm the attorney for Reach Services. The project before you is really kind of novel and new to our community. I think over a year ago, Reach Services realized the need, in conjunction with redevelopment, that the homeless in our community were underserved. This came upon after Reach Services had done a warming center during some particularly cold weather and realized that something needed to be done about this. In conjunction with redevelopment, they identified a site, which Mr. Baylor had said was a former youth intervention center, has been a daycare center, has had a number of different uses over the years, and has been vacant for the last 5 to 6 years. So over the last year, Reach Services worked with a number of different organizations to bring this project to fruition, which is really what we're calling, it's going to be called the Pathways Day Center, where this particular center is going to offer a variety of services to not only the homeless in our community, but also low income, which would include medical services, job placement services, training, mental health services, medical help as well. So basically, it's going to be a serve-all, stop-in shop for anybody that could use those services. Some of the concerns that were raised was what's going to happen when people come there and the business closes at 5 o'clock. What Reach Services is proposing is this is close to bus services in the area. They will provide cards for people to use, and they'll make sure that people be there, because obviously, as you say, the hardship in this particular situation is that this is in a residential neighborhood, but you have a commercial structure in the middle of it. So at this particular point, Reach Services has tried to address these issues, that people won't be lingering with this property, that they'll make sure that the necessary steps are taken, and that this will never be used as an overnight center except for the limited circumstances of extreme cold or extreme warm weather will be a warming center. But in those limited circumstances, otherwise it's going to be a 9 to 5 business that's going to be here to help serve the homeless and the indigent of our community. So if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Pritchard? Is there anyone speaking in opposition to this petition? Motion, please.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next item is subdivision of minor, primary, secondary, docket number 4, file 3, 2021, Welshville.
Yes, okay.
Say this one was. You say this one was.
Welshville sub, one lot. The property is frontage along Swope Road, approximately 1,950 feet east of the intersection of Swope and Spring Creek Road. One new lot of 2.84 acres. Surveyor, Mr. Keller. The applicant is requesting to subdivide 2.84 acres for residential development. Health Department is pending. Public sewer is not available. Septic system must be utilized. Public water is not available. It is not in a flood zone, and the lot does exceed the minimum lot size requirement. Swope Road is considered a local level roadway that can sustain additional traffic from this request. This subdivision was submitted to the Plat Committee back on January the 5th. It has yet to receive Health Department approval. The Plat Committee will only approve a plat if all conditions are met. As it has yet to receive Health Department approval, the Plat Committee has forwarded to the plat to the Full Area Plan Commission with the request that it be approved conditionally upon Health Department approval. Low to medium density exists in this area, so an additional home will not be out of character, and the approval of the plat is contingent upon the plat being recorded by April 7th, 2022. So it did receive a favorable recommendation, with the only conditions being road cut permit if needed and Health Department approval.
Okay, is the petitioner present? Okay, anything you want to add or any questions you have? Okay. Any questions for the planning commission? Anyone speaking in opposition? Have a motion, please. Motion to approve contingent on public comment.
Second.
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 All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next item is subdivision major primary secondary docket number 33, file 18, 2021, Hain 2, lot 7.
The property is just east of the commonly addressed 3376 East Dallas Drive, 12.76 acres, 2 lots. Surveyor is Mr. Campbell. The request is to divide 12.76 acres into 2 lots for residential development. Health Department has approved. Public water is available. Sanitary sewer is not available. It is not a flood zone. Lots exceed the minimum lot size requirements. Area is well served with other utilities. Storm drainage is typically required with a major subdivision. This subdivision does fall under a major subdivision as it represents lots 4 and 5 to be divided from a parent tract. Excuse me. The surveyor has requested variances from section 6, 103, 12, and 13 of the subdivision control ordinance. More specifically, the request is to waive the requirement for a topographic plat and stormwater drainage plan, both requirements of a major subdivision. Given that the proposed use is an estate-style acreage of each lot, staff would offer a favorable recommendation on this waiver of the developments, as well as the requirement for any bonding. The approval of this plat is contingent upon the plat being recorded by April 7th, 2022. So we do offer a favorable on the primary and secondary with the following condition that road cut permits where needed. Should back up. It did receive health department approval. So that was taken off as a condition.
Okay.
Thank you, President Wilson and council members. This is a property that's adjacent to, I'm sorry, my name's Mark Minnick, property owner 3376 East Dallas Drive. Joins the property we're talking about this evening. My father-in-law's present. We co-own the property. The intent on the major subdivision split is so that my sister-in-laws, his daughters, have the opportunity to each build a home on the 6 1/3 acre that would be split each. So each would have their own 6.38 acres. Currently, my family resides there, his family resides there, and there's no structures on the property. There's no wells or septic, but they would each have their own well and septic once the structure is established, which the time frame on that would be 1 to 2 years, if allowed by the board.
Okay, any questions from the planning commission? Anyone speaking in opposition? Have a motion, please. So moved. Second. Favor aye? Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is docket number 35, file 19, 2021, A and B, homes, 1 lot 7.
The prescribed property has frontage along an alley and approximately 45 feet of frontage along East Preston Street just before it turns north and becomes Laher Avenue. At 0.55 acres, the surveyor is Mr. Keller. The request is to subdivide 1 lot from a parent commercial tract for a garage for parking. The health department is approved, public water is available, sanitary sewer is available. This location is in the jurisdiction of Fire Station number 9. No negative impacts are expected by this proposed change. The lot does exceed the minimum lot size requirement. Stormwater drainage is required with a major subdivision. The applicant has proposed use for a garage for parking. A garage has already been constructed on the site. Section 10208A, 6 and 7 list special uses in the C1 and C2 district within the city of Terre Haute. Prescribed therein are open or enclosed accessory off-street parking facilities for the storage of private passenger automobiles when located elsewhere than on the same zoning lot as the principal use served. Also, parking lots or garages other than accessory for the storage of motor vehicles under 1 ton capacity. Thus, a special use approval through the Board of Zoning Appeals will be needed. The main entrance for this use cannot be in an alley. Also, according to section 10137E, the main driveway must be located a minimum of 50 feet from an intersection. This standard cannot be currently met. Board of Zoning Appeals approval for relief from this standard will be needed. Approval of this plat is contingent upon the plat being recorded by April 7th, 2022. We would offer a favorable recommendation so long as the following conditions are met. Drainage and erosion control plan, approval from the city engineering department, road cut permit if needed, Board of Zoning Appeals approval from relief from section 10137E, Board of Zoning Appeals approval for a special use as identified in section 10208, and there's also a minor correction needed in the description on the plat.
Okay, Commissioner President, anything you want to add or any questions you have? Clear as mud? Any questions from the planning commission? There's no one here to object, so I need a motion.
Motion to approve favorable.
Second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. The next one is table, docket number 34. Do I have a motion? Have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Passes. Anybody want to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Let's go home.
Have a second? Any objection? All in favor, aye. Thank you. Nice meeting you. Hope so. Next month I get my left hip replaced on June.